This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Wisconsin's young people are in a mental health crisis. That's according to a new study from the Department of Public Instruction. 59% of high school students say they've dealt with at least one mental health challenge in the past year.
Think about that for a second. Almost 6 out of every 10 Wisconsin high schoolers are telling us that they feel anxious, depressed, or suicidal.
State School Superintendent Jill Underly says schools need more mental health services. The remains of a Wisconsin soldier declared missing in action in the Korean War have been identified. Army Corporal Robert Race was from Dodgeville. His body was found in 1951. He'll have a military burial in Dodgeville in September. 75 police officers from Milwaukee will help secure the Democratic National Convention in Chicago later this month. They'll provide security as well as crowd and traffic control. More than 1,600 officers from 24 states and the District of Columbia worked the Republican convention in Milwaukee. A man from Fond du Lac will spend a week in jail for threatening state lawmakers. James Stearns is 75 years old. 2 years ago, he emailed a radio talk show host threatening to kill any state lawmaker who voted in favor of letting teachers and school administrators carry guns. Early voting for Wisconsin's August 13th primary is underway. The Wisconsin Interfaith Voter Engagement Campaign is reaching out to registered voters who sat out the midterms 2 years ago.
Listening to them, valuing what they have to say, and understanding why perhaps they've been disengaged for a while.
The campaign's Rhonda Lindner says just getting people to even talk about voting again leads to more civic engagement. Wisconsin healthcare companies say artificial intelligence should be limited and monitored. Officials from UW Health say they use AI for in-room transcription services during medical appointments and to answer patients' questions. A spokesperson says a doctor or a nurse reviews all messages before they're sent to patients. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. As the Minocqua Brewing Company remains open, the business continues to fight for it. Owner Kirk Bangstead says that throughout the TIFs the past few years, one element has remained consistent, claiming Oneida County has engaged in selective enforcement of their zoning laws. Bangstead says it started a week before they even opened, when the city said that the driveway must be paved. Then, the drama was followed by the denial of a beer garden permit. Everything kept snowballing from there as the business faced potential removal of its conditional use permit. And in June, Minocqua Brewing had been told to stop allowing outdoor seating for 90 days. And just last week, the business was allowed to remain open after an emergency injunction in Wisconsin's 3rd District Court of Appeals. Bangstead tells News 9 that he's hopeful that he'll be able to remain open through the end of the summer. News 9 also reached out to members of the Oneida County Planning and Development Committee, with one member responding, no comment, and another responding that they could not comment due to active and pending litigation. Over 10,000 athletes are set to take the stage during the Paris Olympics, and a Plover native is going to be right there with the American athletes, helping them prepare to compete. Jenna Bohansky has been with the USA weightlifting for over a year, spending her time working long hours with meticulous planning, arranging transportation for the team, preparing training schedules, and making sure the squad is on time. But on such a big stage, there is little room for error, and the athletes are under strict schedules and procedures throughout the week of the Olympics. So Bohansky is in charge of making sure that everyone is where they need to be, from the athletes to the team doctor, psychiatrist, dietitian, head coach, personal coach, and so on. And the Wisconsin Valley Fair opened their gates yesterday in the sizzling heat as dozens of people flocked to the fairgrounds to get their tickets and have some fun. Daily admission costs $8 before 1 p.m. and $12 after. Children 10 and under are free, and parking costs $6. Low Cash takes the stage at 7:30 tonight for $30 a ticket. Gabby Barrett performs tomorrow night for $25 a seat, and the rodeo takes control Friday and Saturday evenings in the grandstand. The weekend closes with a bang or a smash as the Demo Derby fans get screaming at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Safety is a top priority there. Expect to see law enforcement and EMS located at the entrance near the carnival, right by the Ferris wheel. When it comes to medical emergencies like heat stroke, EMS says head right to the tent. They'll have ice packs and water for you. For severe weather situations, shelter will be the University Field House that's just outside of the grounds. The community is coming together to count how many are homeless around us in Wausau. The North Central Community Action Program and United Way of Marathon County performed a point-in-time count, and they only returned with 9. 2 women and 7 men, with their ages ranging from 25 to 65 years old. They said that they know the number of homeless is much higher than that, as they searched areas like shelters, under bridges, and coves, and 24-hour service places like laundromats, where they typically find around 30 homeless people outdoors versus this year's 9. A man in the town of Wild Rose has had his life dramatically changed forever by winning a $4.3 million grand prize Megabucks ticket. Richard Keisner has been playing the game since 1992, striking the jackpot huge. He's taking home the largest Wisconsin lottery prize won this year. Keisner purchased the ticket from a Quick Trip in Red Granite on July 17th. Megabucks is only offered in Wisconsin and is one of the lottery's longest-running lotto games. This is the second time a Megabucks jackpot was hit this year. The other was in February when the ticket was sold in Oak Creek. And that's what you need to know. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Brewers lose to the Braves. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Brewers starting pitcher Joe Ross looked good in the first couple of innings, according to manager Pat Murphy. Ross had not pitched since May 20th.
The ball came out really good. He's obviously healthy. I saw a couple 96s, I think, and the ball had some life early. Those first 2 innings looked fantastic, and I think the Atlanta Braves had a tremendous approach against them. And these are all-star caliber players shooting the ball the other way.
But then Atlanta tagged him for 5 runs on 8 hits and went on to win 5-1 last night at AmFam Field. Jared Kelnick, who grew up in Waukesha, had a home run for Atlanta. Said he had about 80 family and friends in the stands, including teachers he had in middle school. Game 3 this afternoon. NFL, Packers giving their first-round draft pick, Jordan Morgan, a look at right guard. Jair Alexander says he's excited so far about the new defense. How good can they be?
It's hard to say right now, man, but, at the end of the day, I see us hoisting that trophy on my birthday, February 9th.
That's Packers defensive back Jair Alexander. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Sinead O'Connor's cause of death has been revealed. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a coroner's report says O'Connor died of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease coupled with bronchial asthma and a low-grade lower respiratory tract infection. What happens when Ozzy Osbourne tries to apologize? He ends up having to apologize. That's what happened when Osbourne said sorry to Britney Spears for recently criticizing her dance moves, saying when it comes to her dancing, he sees the same thing every bleeping day, and that is very sad. Can't find the clicker, huh, Ozzy? Just when the fence was mended, Osbourne said maybe change a few moves, though. Spears fired back some expletives and called the Osbournes the most boring family there is. Just an aside, one night when you're having a cocktail and you see a Britney Spears video, turn the sound off and watch her dance. Osbourne might be onto something. He's qualified, he's white, he's a dude. Actually, the dude, and he's for Kamala Harris. So says Jeff Bridges, star of 1998's Coen brother cult classic The Big Lebowski. Variety reports that Bridges took part in a Zoom call titled White Dudes for Harris. Joining Bridges on the call were fellow actors Sean Astin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bradley Whitford, and Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. They were joined by various Democratic governors in pledging their support to Kamala Harris. Bridges brought out his best dude voice saying, "I'm excited, man." Divorce can be rough on a couple. For example, according to TMZ, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are splitting and have listed their Beverly Hills home for $60 million, forcing Affleck to buy a much smaller house for only $20 million. According to TMZ, Lopez celebrated her birthday alone by throwing herself a lavish Bridgerton-themed party. There's something so fancy about that, and yet so sad. If your resume is updated, you might want to send it to the Academy Awards. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Jimmy Kimmel and John Mulaney both turned down Oscars so far. ABC company man Kimmel has hosted the Oscars 4 times and the Emmys 3 times, but he's trying to slow down and have more balance in his life. Oh well, Mulaney said no thanks, maybe next year. The Oscars don't need to panic yet. The broadcast isn't until March 2nd, and it is still considered a prestigious gig, where most of the time you won't get slapped. Just because you've had a good sitcom once doesn't mean it's automatic your new show will get picked up. Just ask Ty Burrell, who played Phil Dunphy on the hit ABC show Modern Family. The crazy talented Burrell starred in 250 episodes of Modern Family, won 2 Emmys, and was nominated for 8 straight years. ABC still passed on his new pilot, Forgive and Forget. A tough biz indeed. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 7 to 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms today, tonight, and again tomorrow. Otherwise, it's going to be partly cloudy, warm, and humid. Our high in the mid to upper 80s today, upper 80s tomorrow with a heat index 90 to 95 or better each day. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 69.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com.